will be discussing. So the last topic that has been left in the first unit will be on characteristics of BJT as well as MOSFET. Characteristics of BJT and MOSFET. These are the two topics that have been left. So we will complete this, then we will be finishing the first unit. So actually in BJT, before discussing the characteristics, first you have to know what is actually BJT, and one more thing, here in BJT you need to know what actually is BJT. Let's go the definition for BJT. What actually is your BJT? BJT is nothing but bipolar junction transistor. Bipolar junction transistor. I hope you have basic idea about transistor. Transistor basically has 3 terminals. Unlike diode has only 2 terminals. Here the transistor is a 3-terminal device. The importance of transistor is, other than switching, it performs different applications. Like your transistor is used for amplification. Transistor has the property of amplification. Amplification is nothing but one of the property of the transistor. And you can use the transistor for switching also. There are different applications for transistor. That's why it is superior than your diode. The main thing is, due to the presence of the third terminal, it is used as a control device. The control is possible by using the transistor, whereas the control was not possible by your BJT. You have one more transistor, that is FET. It is field effect transistor. It is also a type of transistor. It is field effect transistor. It is the BJT is bipolar junction transistor and FET is field effect transistor. Here in this FET you have only current flow due to majority carriers, and the current flow in this FET is drift current. When the current flow is due to majority carriers, and you call it as drift current. When the current flow is dominated by the majority carriers, because current flow is due to majority carriers. Here in BJT we have current flow due to majority as well as minority carriers, whereas your field effect transistor has special property, like your field effect transistor has drift current, that is majority of the current will flow through majority carriers. All the current that is flowing through due to the majority carriers is called your drift current. How will be your BJT? BJT has common terminals. I hope you know what is BJT. There will be emitter, base and collector. Emitter, base and collector. This is your BJT and this is collector. This is emitter and this is base and this is collector. Either it may be NPN bipolar junction transistor or PNP bipolar junction transistor. It may be either of this, NPN transistor or PNP transistor. The only the difference is in the structure differences. This is your base, collector, emitter. This is your PNP transistor when the arrow mark is in this position. For NPN transistor, you will have structure like this. Sorry. For NPN transistor, the structure will be, the current will be in this direction. This is your collector, and this is your base, and this is your emitter. This is your PNP transistor. This is NPN transistor. So the junction that exists between emitter and base, this junction is called emitter junction, and the junction that exists between base and collector is called collector junction. This junction is called your collector junction. This is emitter, this is collector, and this is base. NPN, here majority carriers will be electrons, here the majority carriers will be electrons, here the majority carriers will be holes. Whereas if you take PNP transistor, here the majority carriers will be holes, and here the majority carriers will be electrons, and here the majority carriers will be holes like that. Clear? In the NPN transistor, both N regions are separated from P region. Here, both P regions are separated from N region. That is the difference between NPN and PNP transistor. Here, a PN junction will be formed by emitter and base. That junction is emitter junction, and PN junction formed by collector and base is called your collector junction. This is N on P, just like it is. Here you will get a junction JE, and the PN junction formed between base and collector is JC. Similarly, PN junction formed here will be emitter junction. PN junction formed between N and P is your collector junction. This is the basic thing about your BJT. Now coming to how actually the BJT is classified. What actually is your emitter, what actually is your base, and what actually is your collector. What is the emitter? Coming to the first part of the thing, that is emitter. Next we will discuss about base, and similarly we will discuss about collector. What actually is your emitter? Emitter is nothing but which emits or supplies. Emitter is one which emits or supplies majority carriers, because those are the reasons for your flow of current. The maximum current that is flowing through the transistor is responsible, or majority carriers are responsible for your majority current flow in the transistor, because this will contribute the flow of current in transistor. Contribute flow of current in transistor, or you can call it as BJT, bipolar junction transistor. Hence, this emitter should be heavily doped. What is doping? Adding impurities. So, whenever you design a transistor, this emitter should be heavily doped. This is one of the competitive exam questions. Once it has been asked in engineering services examination. What about emitter? Heavily doped, moderately doped, or lightly doped? The answer is heavily doped, because only if it is heavily doped, it can supply large number of carriers, which increases the flow of current. Because the emitter, the name itself says it emits. It emits what? The majority carriers, which are responsible for the flow of current. So, in order to emit, it should be heavily doped. So, if it is heavily doped, then it can supply large number of carriers for the flow of current. It can supply large number of carriers. Nothing but your emitter, if it is highly doped, heavily doped, then it can supply large number of carriers. So coming to the collector. Base. What is base? Base is the region which carriers are supplied from emitter, travel to collector junction through the base. It is the region or intermediate region, you can say. Region which is intermediate. Intermediate nothing but it exists in between collector, emitter and collector. Collector is the one which collects the carriers. Emitter is the one which emits the carriers. Emitter emits the carriers and collected by the collector through the base. Nothing but there will be some sort of recombination that happens in the base, and here it acts as an intermediate channel. Nothing but it acts, the travel of carrier from emitter to collector happens through the base, so it acts as an intermediate channel. Base is an intermediate channel. Suppose if you take an NPN transistor, in NPN transistor nothing but this is emitter is N, base is P, and collector is N. Here NPN transistor emits majority carriers. Majority carriers in N type is electron. Electron from emitter to collector. Emitter to collector travels through the base. Emitter majority carriers will travel through the base to reach the collector, and this is acting like an intermediate region. So the current entering to the base region will control the flow of carriers from emitter to collector. Here it controls the flow of carriers from emitter to collector. Emitter is the one which controls the flow of carriers from emitter to collector, and hence you can control the current flow through it. So if you control the flow of carriers, you can automatically current can be controlled. So this is nothing but it acts like a control terminal. Base region is control terminal. So here it is not supplied. Actually its property should be, base property should be, whatever the emitter is giving to pass through collector, the base should help, and it should not eat the carriers. All the carriers should be supplied from emitter to base. So this region should be lightly doped. Why lightly doped? If it is heavily doped, then it should emit it. It should be capable of emitting. So it should be lightly doped. If it is moderately doped, then instead of reaching, the carriers reaching, suppose 10 electrons is supplied by the emitter. So at least 9 should reach, so that 90% efficiency will be achieved. 1 electron will be lost in the base. But instead of reaching that, if only 2 electrons reaches, that then this is useless. The emitter that is emitting the electrons, the maximum amount should be transferred to collector. In order to transfer maximum amount, it should be lightly doped, not heavily doped or moderately doped. This base should be always lightly doped and should be of narrow width. Narrow width nothing but less number of carriers. If less number of carriers, nothing but whatever the holes present here, because this is P, NPN transistor, if you take, this is N, electrons are coming, and holes, whenever electron meets holes, recombinations will happen. So if the width is wide, if the width of the base region is wide, then more number of holes will be there. More number of holes will be there, nothing but more number of electrons will be sucked by this hole. Then recombinations increases. So recombination should be reduced. Recombination should be reduced such that more number of electrons from emitter will be supplied to collector. So for that purpose, your width should be narrow. Width should be narrow, nothing but your holes should be minimum as possible. So this will control the flow of current, and more number of electrons will be transferred to the hole. Clear? As a result, majority carriers from the supplied by the emitter can reach the collector. This efficient transport of carrier from emitter to collector is nothing but your transistor action. What is meant by transistor action? Your transistor action is nothing but efficient supply of carrier from emitter to collector. Efficient supply of carrier from emitter to collector. This is nothing but your which action? This is your transistor action, very important. This action is called transistor action. Clear? This the process of efficient supply of carriers from emitter to collector is called transistor action. This is about transistor action. Now coming to the collector. What is the property of the collector? It collects or receives the carriers coming from the emitter. So what is the purpose of collector? It is just like a collector. Receives the carrier. It receives the carrier from emitter. Collector purpose is it receives the carrier from emitter. Now to receive it should not be lightly dosed, it should receive maximum carriers but not supply the carriers. So it should be moderately dosed. Remember, your collector should be always moderately dosed. And the size of the collector, because it has to receive the electrons, right? So the width should be large. The width should be large. Here the width should be narrow. Here the width should be large because it collects. Base should not collect the electrons from the emitter. The collector should collect. So hence the width of the your collector is large. So the large amount of heat will be developed at the collector junction. As this is at the output, the heat will be transferred. So whenever there is large number of carriers and large number of width, then large heat will be developed. This heat will be easily transferred to surroundings as this is output terminal. It can be the heat can be easily transferred to output surroundings or surroundings, output or surroundings. So this is the property of collector. This is how your emitter, collector and base operate. Now coming to the voltage, current and power dissipation for junctions formed, whereas emitter junction as well as collector junction. These are the two junctions that are formed. So let us see what is the voltage, current and power capabilities of these junctions. Let's see I am making a table. Parameter, I am taking first voltage. Here voltage, as it is a PN junction and made of silicon, you may have a drop of 0.7, whereas the collector you will have a drop of 10 volts, whereas you take current range will be 10 milliamperes and here also around 10 milliamperes. Now the power dissipation between emitter and base will be minimum because minimum voltage will be there, and here it will be maximum because maximum voltage will be there, and here you will get around 100 milliwatt. This is the current as well as voltage of the junction. Now, different modes of operation, very important. Mode of operation. What are the different modes of operation of your BJT? Then we will draw the characteristic. Then only we will be able to draw the characteristic. Mode refers nothing but two junctions are biased. Nothing but when which is forward bias, which is reverse bias, and when it is which one, when it is forward bias or reverse bias, how will be your operation. Coming to the mode, I am taking junction E, junction C, and what will be the property of particular biasing, and what are the applications associated with it. What are the different applications associated with that? So, coming to the different mode. First mode, cutoff. What will be the cutoff mode? In cutoff mode, your junction E will be reverse bias and junction JC or collector junction will also be reverse. When both are reverse bias, there will be a negligible or zero amount of current. Negligible amount of current will be there. That indicates there will be a high resistance. High resistance because it acts like a open circuit. It will be high resistance. This is the application of off switch. Your transistor behaves like a off switch in your cutoff region. In cutoff region, your transistor behaves like a off switch. Off switch is the application. Now next one, saturation. Saturation. What is saturation? In saturation, what happens? Your junction E is also forward bias and junction JC, emitter junction as well as collector junction will also be forward bias. As forward bias, nothing but short circuit. Nothing but there will be a large current. Large current that will be flowing. And what about resistance? Here high resistance, here almost negligible resistance will be there. So what are the applications? Here the transistor acts like a on switch. Why on switch? Because it is just acting like a short circuit. And the most important one is active. What actually is active? In active region, your junction JE will be forward bias and your collector junction will be reverse bias. When one is forward bias, other one is reverse bias, especially when the emitter junction is forward bias and collector junction is reverse bias, then it has, this transistor will acquire a property called transistor action. Here the transistor will have best transistor action. Nothing but here the transistor acts like amplifier. Very, very important. In this subject we will be more focusing on not on switch or not off switch. We will be more focusing on the application of amplifier. How transistor is used as amplifier. Now next, last one, inverse active. Inverse active, or you can call it as reverse active also, both are same. You can call it as reverse active or inverse active, both are same. Reverse active region. This is mode. Clear? Here, just opposite to the active. This will be reverse bias and this will be forward bias. Here, it is just opposite. Very poor transistor action. Here this is excellent transistor action. Here this is very poor transistor action. So what are the applications is, these are used in attenuator. Attenuator is just opposite of amplification. यहाँ पे amplitude will be multipole. Here the amplitude will be reduced. So this is the application which we never use. We want to increase, not reduce any quantity, right? So attenuator is those applications which is very rarely used, and the most important application of your BJT is your amplifier. Amplifier is the property where you can application where you can use the transistor for different applications. So this is the most important for the BJT. So we'll discuss the different configurations that are possible. Before that, we'll discuss how actually the current flows in active mode. Active mode nothing but your transistor applications, in amplifier application, how the current will flow. Let us discuss that.